The day it's been so far. After plenty of teasing, we finally got to see the first pictures of the new R18 Transcontinental and Bagger. They're all over social media, just in case you woke up. American band The Cadillac 3 have just dropped a new song called Get After It, which features both bikes in the music video. And now, we've got 4 of them in the studio, and we're going to be joined by 3 guests who know a lot more about them than I do. The second half of the live stream is going to look into the design story of these 2 new exciting additions to the R18 family. We've got designers Don waiting on the line from California and Bart in the studio in Munich, and they're going to be showing you lots of cool pictures. So don't miss this glimpse into a secret world that's usually off limits to the public. But right now, let's see the real things in the metal. And here to show us more is Christian Pingitzer. How are you, my friend?
Hey Andy, good to see you. It's been a great day, so as you said, I'm excited to tell you more about the bikes.
Yeah, 2 new additions to the R18 family. Do you guys at BMW Motorrad ever sleep?
Well, it's been a quite exhausting time for all the project teams, the manufacturing and the sales and marketing team the last couple of months, but here we are, and there's a lot to tell.
Yep, certainly looks fantastic. Well, let's start with the Transcontinental, Christian, and perhaps we can take a much closer look. We're talking about maximum comfort and luxury for both rider and passenger, aren't we? So what exactly do you get for your money with the Transcontinental compared to the standard R18 that we're all familiar with now?
Exactly. Well, let's have a look at the bike directly. Of course, first of all, what you see first is the big fairing. That's going to give you a perfect wind and weather protection and a high windscreen. Then, of course, we got that's fork mounted, so of course that can handle while you move the bike. And then, of course, we got a larger tank to give you the capacity for a long touring cruise. And then we would offer, of course, a new dashboard, and that is offering 4 analog instruments and a 10.25-inch TFT screen that you might know from our briefly released RT. And well, there's a lot to see. That includes connectivity and full navigation when you have your mobile phone with the BMW app connected. Furthermore, we have, of course, a big luggage system, the side cases and a big top case where you can put a lot of stuff in. We got wind deflectors at the side of the bike, and they're shown here. Then we have engine bar protections, and furthermore, we got a heated seat, very comfortable for passenger and pillion and rider, of course. And we got heated grips, not to forget, which is pretty known for BMW. And not to forget, we got a dynamic cruise control as standard on the bike.
That is a long, long list of features. Thanks for taking us through those. We'll be coming back to those, I'm sure. But of course, it's all about riding serious miles in comfort with a bike like this, isn't it? So it's fantastic to see how many comfort features you managed to pack into that bike. But you've ridden it, haven't you, Christian? So I want you to tell us exactly what it's like behind that big fairing on the road.
Well, we put a lot of work into the ergonomics, because if you have a long ride, a touring ride, you want to feel relaxed and comfortable. And of course, that is first of all about the seating position. So you want to have a good angle for your feet, for the rider and the passenger, and a very comfortable seat for both of them. And of course, the windshield is offering, dependent on your body height, then is offering you a good protection. But well, you want to bring all your luggage, so definitely that has to go into the bike. So there's a large capacity in the cases and the top case that you can put in. And we even got inner bags that we offer and other stuff to make this really comfortable to take out. There are top loaders, of course, which is pretty standard in this segment, I would say. And not to forget, one feature I pretty much like when you go for a longer ride, we got air flaps, and so if you have a hot day, you can take those flaps and open them, and they will give you some fresh air into your face.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. I just noticed on a couple of those pictures there on the dashboard, you've got this power reserve gauge, and I've heard about this, but I've never actually seen it on a bike before, only on Rolls Royces. So what's the idea here then?
That's true. On the top right in the picture, you can see the power reserve. Basically, we say like the big touring bikes, you got all the power that you need for a touring cruise. But if you want to pass a car or accelerate hard in a special situation, it is pretty nice to see that you've got enough power left for that situation, and we'll promise this bike can deliver.
Fantastic. So what, in your opinion, has BMW Motorrad done then to make this big bike as much fun to ride as possible? You know, whether long distance cruising or challenging twisty roads or even slow speed handling, Christian?
Well, of course, we are known for good performance and the great dynamic handling, but with such a large touring bike and big touring bike, you have to do some work to make it really relaxed. So first of all, we need a pretty accessible seat height for all types of customers. So a low seat is the prerequisite number one. Then, if you wanna accelerate and you have a kind of a more critical situation when you decelerate, you want engine drag torque control. So that is offered, of course, as well as standard. And we want, of course, the people to have a good position to shift gears. So we have got the floorboards and we got a rocker shift system that you cannot see. It's on my side here. That is fully adjustable for the rider's foot, so you can use it the way you want it. And we have done something very special compared to the R18 previous versions. We have positioned the fork a little bit behind the steering head, which gives you quite good maneuverability if you have a low speed and you maneuver around, or if you go in a twisty road and you want to go into the curves well. So it's going to be nice and riding well when you go higher speeds, but also good for low speeds. So that's a pretty good feature as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, loads to take in there, Christian. But for a minute, shall we move across to the new R18B then? Because B stands for bagger, of course. Yeah, and a bagger, I mean, just looking at it from where I am, it cuts a really different silhouette from the Transcontinental. Really sort of streamlined springs to mind. So can you explain to everyone watching exactly what makes a motorcycle a bagger?
Well, it's all about the silhouette. It has to be powerful and masculine on the front. So we use a lower windscreen compared to the Transcontinental, but it has to be long and low, of course, if you look at the silhouette from the distance. So that's going to give you a really nice appearance. So it's about the looks, and when you see that bike from the distance, you want to sit on it definitely. And of course, that's going to be nicely wrapped around our Boxer engine, which is our icon #1, and that's what we're known for almost 100 years.
Absolutely, yeah. Looking at it from here, it's certainly long and low, and again, it really shows just how ripe this R18 base is for customization, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of stuff that we offer, but the biggest difference is to the Transcontinental. We got here a black engine, and so also the engine covers are blacked out, so the whole drivetrain is dark and giving you a very nice combination with the Blackstorm metallic color. And of course, we offer a lot of ex-factory, but also accessories that you can buy at the dealer, like our two-tone black valve covers. That's an accessory line that offers more components, like the front here on the engine, the cylinder covers, but also for the brake caliper and the clutch and everything. So they have been designed with Roland Sands, so they really look nice on the bagger. So that is to individualize your bike, and there's of course different lines that we offer as accessories, but also by the factory you can have option 719. As our well-known line of ex-factory special things, and we have a really beautiful aero line that is giving you like the streamliner look of the 30s, and that fits also very nicely to some of the color options that we offer. And if we talk about the color options, there's a lot of things to choose from. We know that we have been very selective with our first edition. So we have been black with the white pinstriping that we have been known for since after the Second World War. But now, of course, we want to open the variety, and we also introduced that we will have more base colors on the R18 and the R18 Classic. But also those bikes will start with a quite 4 nice choices of color. So they will both come, Transcontinental and the bagger will come standard black. but we will have, of course, them as first editions with chrome packages, etc. And here, also in the room, we got a fantastic Manhattan metallic matte color that fits nicely with the dark engine, and so I really, really love that color as well, because it fits for me perfectly to the dark drivetrain of the Bagger and engine. So that's a beautiful color to choose from as well. And then not to forget one option 719 color, and that's a super spectacular color. That's a combination, it's a flip-flop paint, so dependent on the light and sunshine, you'll see it's sparkling because it's got a lot of flakes inside, and it's between blue and purple. And check out our configurator or all our pictures that are online now to see how the colors look like. And so you can combine as much as you want colors and ex-factory options and our accessory lines with your dealer.
Yeah, you got your work cut out for you there if you're interested. But yeah, certainly the Bagger really looks mean, long and low. I think the Americans would call it badass. But I noticed that there are footboards on the Transcontinental and you've got pegs on the Bagger.
Yeah.
Riders in this segment, yeah, they really like to stretch out their legs, don't they? So are there any other options here?
Yeah, of course, we are offering now the foot pegs for long cruise. So I'm going to sit on the bike and show you how you put your feet up here so you can comfortably relax and sit with your feet up if you're going for a long ride and have your hand on the steering bar. So super easy with that system, and that can be mounted on any of the R18 bikes that we have released now. So yeah, that's one option, and of course combinable with everything we have.
Yeah, you look very relaxed on the bike then, Christian, that's for sure. Now, earlier, I just saw that fantastic new video from the Cadillac 3, and it featured both of those bikes. And motorcycles and music, they go hand in hand, of course. And the standard Marshall sound system that you've spoken about, it's a quality touch, but I believe there's an even louder option available for those who like to blast out cool music while they ride.
Absolutely. As standard, we got the Marshall system as well. But when you want to really hear music loud and with a really high quality, we have our Marshall Gold system, stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 with the Bagger, it comes with the speakers in a like a golden signature from Marshall. So you got two 25 watts front speakers, and we add two 90 watt subwoofers in the cases. So that's going to give you a really good sound system combination of 230 watts in total. And when you then order a Transcontinental, you can opt for a stage 2. And in that stage 2, you got, even in the top case, two more 25 watt speakers. So that's going to give you a system power of 280 watts. And it's really super cool to sit on a bike like that, an open road, and to listen to Cadillac 3, for example.
Yeah, sounds fantastic, and I'm sure it will sound fantastic. You just touched earlier on first edition, so if you can just clarify for me and for everyone watching. So with these two new bikes, will there be a first edition offered again as with the original R18?
Exactly, so we will offer that as well for the Bagger as well as the Transcontinental, and you see here one first edition of the Transcontinental. So we will have, of course, the most visible thing is the chrome package for the cylinder heads, the levers. Oh yeah, we got the auxiliary lights that I forgot to mention in the beginning that are, of course, also standard on the bike, also here in chrome. And then we got a first edition lettering here on the side on the cases. We got stitches of first edition on the seat. And not to forget, everyone is also getting a welcome box with some nice gifts and features, old logos, and a book about BMW caps and belts, and etc., etc. So there's a lot in it.
Yeah, it seems like BMW Motor has thought of everything, and you've got to get in there first to get the first edition. Yeah. So thanks so far, Christian. We're going to come back to you a little bit later in the live stream, but let's see if we can bring Bart into the picture, and hopefully he's not too far away, and bring Don in also from California and actually get the design story of both bikes. So are you there in the studio, Bart? If you are, we'll come to you first.
Hi, Andy. Nice to talk to you again, and thanks for this opportunity to talk a bit about the design of the R18.
Well, thank you to you both for coming. Hello there. Give us a wave if you can hear us all right from California, Don. Yep, that's good. All right. He's in. That's all that matters. Okay, so Bart, these are the third and fourth models in the R18 family. So I'd like to know more about how the whole story fits together, because it seems to me that it was all part of a clear design strategy. So how long ago did you actually start planning the lineup, and when was this strategy signed off?
Early in the project, we started on the on different engine concepts and different frame layouts and stuff. And then earlier on, we went on to the design images, which I exactly. So we had the design images of the first. Let's say when we decided on the big boxer, then we decided on the double cradle frame, and then our task was, as we see on the pictures, is here to create like an attractive base where we could do different kind of proposals, work on it. As you can see, we made a lot of sketches and CAD models to refine every component of the motorcycle, the way it sits into the frame, the whole exhaust system, the suspension, the fuel tanks, and lots of the work you see sketches were done by Don in California. And so until we get the base, and then we made different kind of proposals. And here you see the first two we already presented. You know, the R18 and the Comfort, the R18 Classic, and now the two ones we have today. And these are, as you can see, all developed around the same base.
Yeah, fantastic. It's really great to see so many cool photos in the background while you're explaining things, Bart. So you got the green light for development then. What actually happens next?
Well, then, as you saw, we have those 4 models signed off. So we have like a family where we can continue working on. And then first thing, we refine the layout further. So we get the engineers involved. And then we do it through CAD, but also through physical models, as we can see over here. And for us, it's still one of the most important tools. It's through the physical models to get the right feel for the design, the way it sits, the way it, the proportion, where it sits on the wheels. And that's usually very difficult to do it only through digital stuff. But obviously we can do still, like again, these are sketches from Don, where we work on the components to refine it. But the overall feel of the motorcycle, the way the stance of it, which is a really big deal in this segment, is done through the physical model. And so like I said, most of the work here was done by Don when he was over here in Munich in our studio. So over to you, Don.
Yes, a good time to bring you in, Don. So welcome to the live stream. Apologies for the early start. I know it's awful early in San Francisco, but of course we're talking to you because of the early significant involvement of BMW Design Works in California on this project. Now, the R18 engine may have been born in Berlin, but why did the styling and direction really need a West Coast flavor, Don?
Yeah, I mean, BMW Design Works USA was started in the 90s. It was an outpost research center for the US market, mainly for the auto design. So the studio is really a design think tank for West Coast innovation and, of course, the free spirit that thrives here in California. So, with this, we felt the design and spirit of this type of bike required a blend of California and U.S. exposure, as well as the expertise of BMW Design Works' long experience in vehicle design and sculpting. So if you look at it, so much of BMW's best car design work has come from this studio. So the design of this bike required an important blend of being true to BMW's heritage, and this in combination with an American free spirit. So for us, Design Works was a place to get this done.
Yeah, sure is, Don, and it's got me thinking just talking to you now, because I'm an English guy talking to you in the States and talking to Bart in the studio as a Dutchman. There's Christian from Germany there as well. So how is this clash of cultures? And I'm going to ask you this, Bart, because you're the guy to answer it. But how's this clash of cultures managed design-wise on a project like this?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question, Andy, the clash of cultures, because on the one hand, especially for this project, on the one hand, we had this engineering-led German motorcycle company, and on the other hand, we had this traditional segment with its own rules and heritage, and how to bring those two together. No? So actually, we as a company had to learn a lot and to understand like what are the rules, what are the values that people who are using these motorcycles in this segment. So for us, it was quite a hard period to understand, these bikes, and the way we did it in the end was go back to our own heritage, like a traditional segment, and we went back to our own tradition, and this allowed us to get to this layout and to get like a uniquely, really unique product, but which is still recognizable as a BMW, with our design quality and with our design finish. And I think we succeeded in bringing those two cultures, those classic cultures together. And the other thing which you mentioned before, like we see some of the pictures from DesignWorks in California, and actually it helps to have those two cultures, to get the two sides together, because you get quicker to the core of what actually represents a segment or a German company. And I think in the end, in the product, it shows that it has those two souls put together, and it creates like a completely new kind of vehicle.
Yeah, soul and passion, I can see that clearly. Thanks for that, Bart. So back to you, Don. At what point then is a 2D sketch turned into a 3D model? And do you guys even freehand sketch anymore, or is it all digital now?
Yeah, that's a good question. All of us inside of BMW Design know how to put pen to paper and basically sketch what's in our minds. In this profession, it's our most important communication tool. So, early in the design process, as you can see in the images, we explored ideas with 2D sketches. Most of us are sketching on a computer tablet now, but the skill and output is pretty much the same. So, most important, you have to know how to sketch to be a top quality vehicle designer. It's kind of a bottom line. So, from there, ultimately you take these ideas and sketches into a 3D model program and evolve them to the next level. So, this next level will have concept engineering, packaging, design considerations based on a design brief. Ultimately, it's a rewarding phase as you can finally visualize your design and kind of spin it around in 3D.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about the clay phase then, because I've seen quite a lot of clay on some of the pictures, Don. So is clay still the best material for bringing these design concepts to life?
Yeah, it's a golden question, much like the necessity to sketch ideas, the clay model phase for motorcycle design is super important. A motorcycle is at its roots an organic object, and it needs to fit a human body to be ridden. So, a motorcycle or anything like it that is created directly to kind of interface with the human body, it needs to be evaluated continually, especially during its design development, to make sure it still fits a human. Super important. So, for us, sculpting with clay is still the most interactive and real of 3D design processes for motorcycle design.
Yeah, that's the next step, I guess. But I guess either way, you still have to get those ideas approved and signed off. So I'm going to go back over to you, Bart, because at what stage do you actually present your physical ideas to the upper management?
We tend to have two of those meetings, but like Don said, the physical model is so important in the evaluation of the design. So we have actually, it's one of the main tools which we give to management to make the right decision. And there we put our clay models into painted models. And we in BMW take a lot of pride in the quality of our models. As you can see, we have a really good modeling squad and and internally also we paint our models. Actually, in the process, we have twice these evaluations of the hard models or of the painted models. One is at the end of the design phase. Here we see some of the pictures from how we prepare those painted models. So we have one at the end of the first design phase where we basically get the sign off of the design direction, and then we have a second one at the end of the design phase, which is basically the design freeze, after which the engineers cannot change anymore the overall shape. And those two moments are really important to get the right product on the market. And as you can see here, the time and the effort that goes into those models is quite unique in the industry.
Yeah, it's a massive amount of effort and a huge amount of work, isn't it? So I guess in that respect, it's really important that the management are passionate motorcyclists themselves, not just corporate suits looking at budgets, because you really have to live and breathe motorcycle culture to understand the potential of bikes like these, don't you?
Yeah, usually you do, but like I said before, like BMW is an engineering-led company which has done several kind of products, but this is really the first time we get into this product. So even there, our passionate management had to learn how to appreciate these motorcycles. So it took them some time to get used to the riding style, and but in the end, they really got around to it, and they appreciate it really well. And I think it reflects in the quality of the ride of the motorcycle, that we somehow understood what is important, but without forgetting what our values are. Like it's still in a certain way, it handles still as a BMW, but it is a bike which can be enjoyed like anybody who is used to riding this type of motorcycle.
Yeah, that's good news. Okay, so back to you, Don, then. It's probably 2018, 2019, and you've got these design lead models for pre-production development. What actually happens next?
Yeah, okay. So, this part of the development process is when all the teams involved in bringing a bike into production continually come together. This is usually happening in the design studio or maybe on a computer screen. So this is important. It's an important time so we can all reach our goals and come together, goals for both design and engineering. So, with that said, it's probably the most challenging phase in a project. Designer must try to understand and respect the needs of the development team, while still making sure the design lead model stays intact. It's super important. So, again, with this, you kind of have to learn to choose your battles for design when they're needed, but kind of always come together for a common goal, and that goal is to get the bike into production. So, BMW work culture takes huge pride in everything they build, be it a car or a motorcycle. So, when these machines finally hit the road, they are the ultimate riding machines, and something for everybody involved to be proud of.
Yeah, absolutely. So are you still working in clay at this point, or are you refining things on screen, or?
Yeah, at this stage in the development process, we're pretty much entirely working on the bike in 3D CAD. So we do still sketch to communicate needed design tweaks to engineers and such, but for the most part, the clay phase is finished. In parallel with this, all the parts designed and being developed are prototyped and tested on a test mule. This test mule is it's like a spy vehicle you see in magazines and stuff. And with these pre-production parts, all the development teams, including design, we can all continually check the integrity of our work and the work everybody's responsible for. So, it's a time when you and your studio and design engineer must continually stay on top of things. You really got to stick with it to the end, to the very end.
To the bitter end, absolutely. Okay,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
back to you, Bart. What about the inevitable tensions that arise between design and engineering departments, for example? I mean, how do you reconcile those? Because I guess the last thing any designer wants is to compromise on his or her original vision.
Yeah, exactly. And like Don explained beforehand, it's our task to, together with the engineers, to come up with a common goal. And usually in a project, a different kind of project, you start together. The only thing this time with this project, we from design were a little bit ahead, because a lot of because this bike was all about look and feel. So we had some of the design directions already gave some technical concepts, like we had to have them inside. So for the engineers, it was a little bit harder than it was usual, because they didn't have so much freedom as they would usually have in defining the concept. Because in this segment, there are, like I said before, there are traditions and rules and stuff which you have to follow. But I think the quality of the product in the end shows how good our engineers are, because they could integrate all their requirements, all their like stiffness calculations, all their handling stuff into these, like when we're a little bit running ahead of them, they could still keep up with us, and then engineering as it should be. So actually a lot of compliments to our engineers that they could somehow get this design vision into production.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're probably around about 2019, 2020, and of course, all the buzz in public is about the imminent arrival of the new R18, to us anyway. But of course, behind the scenes, there's a huge feasibility, engineering and design testing phase for the next members of the R18 family, which we're obviously seeing today. So that involves real pre-production prototypes. So what happens here then?
Well, we like you said, you were part of that phase, you know, like when 2019, when we had the first concept bikes from Zon and Revival, where we communicated the big boxer. And for us, it was kind of a really helpful, because we had a lot of positive feedback, so we could give this feedback back into the project, and everybody, it boosted a bit the motivation to do stuff, because normally we are in this process, we are more like a supporting role. But actually, sometimes issues come up, no? Like during the production, that some things have to be changed and stuff like that. And then it's really important that you work together as a team to get these issues solved, because otherwise it's going to be a bit like you on your wedding day, where you have this beautiful suit and nobody looks at your beautiful suit because you have this little thing that this pigeon dropped on your shoulder. And so we try to avoid those things at the end of the project, which is one of the hardest parts.
That's meant to be good luck, isn't it? Still, I guess I'm glad it never happened to me on my wedding day anyway. So back to you then, Don. So with so many components still to finalize at this stage, you know, like, I don't know, how to incorporate speakers for the Marshall sound system, or components like those wind deflectors Christian mentioned earlier. How do you integrate all that seamlessly without anything looking like a bolted on afterthought? No offense.
Yeah, no problem. You know, with all the motorcycles designed inside of BMW, you know, we're always considering personalization of the bikes in advance. It's important. So, you know, accessories are integrated into the design process early on. So, and for this bike, and like the base R18, customization was super important, and this needed to be worked in from the very, very beginning, you know, from the get-go.
What about the, you know, how early in the design phase are the decisions taken on things like color and trim then?
Yeah, you know, there again, color and trim is a really important element in the final execution of any BMW motorcycle. So, and hugely important with R18 being transcontinental, to kind of distinguish between the two characters of the bikes. You know, we've got badass trim, you know, badass black trim for the black bagger, bright clean chrome for the transcontinental. So we explored color and trim variations at all stages of the model presentations. You know, within the cruiser segment, color and mechanical finishes are hugely important. You know, it helps to give a bike a soul, and in this case, an authentic BMW character. So, you know, the white pinstripes are a perfect example of this.
Yeah, sure are. Are you ever finished? I mean, I'm not joking when I say you're probably already working on the next model updates.
Yeah, you know, we're always moving forward, and more to come for sure. So, you know, the R18 is a perfect base and platform for endless cool and creative opportunities. So, you know, and that's both for us as a manufacturer and anyone out there with an R18, you know, to just go for it and make it your own personal statement. So, with that said, stay tuned, and we're definitely on it.
Yeah, we will for sure. Thanks, Don. So I've got to ask you, Bart, because time-wise, a lot of the latter stages of this project, it must have been completed while we're all in the middle of a global pandemic. So what challenges did this bring with moving talent and components around the world?
Well, I think like everybody who's watching and had its own issues with during the Corona period, obviously we had the same problems. We couldn't move people, we couldn't go abroad. So we have a big testing facility in France, for example, which we had to scale down. But luckily we have testing areas around, so we could still carry on with the work. And the other thing is, luckily in BMW we have lots of processes which are ready digitally, and so the transition from physical working to remote working was actually quite good. I think BMW did an excellent job keep everything working. We hardly had any delays. And obviously for this project we had the ideal collaboration, because Don was already used to working remotely from San Francisco. So actually for this part of the project, actually it was no issue.
Yeah, good to know. Just to finish our design chat, can I ask you then, Don, what you're most proud of design-wise with these two bikes?
Okay. Yeah, okay. It's a good question. You know, the R18s are big and powerful cruisers. You know, what's super important is that they have a cohesive styling theme. So, you know, styling and design integration is a challenge when you have bodywork elements which stand alone. and that are not connected. So you've got a front fairing, you've got a fuel tank, side bags, top case, etc. So ultimately it's about creating line flow and harmony with R18's mechanical core and its sculptural bodywork. So for me, I think we accomplished this. It's got what I say is it's got power and grace. So I also like the cockpit a lot. I'm really proud of that. It came out super nice. In the end, the R18B and Transcontinental are true BMWs. Both the bikes have innovative engineering, premium build quality, clean, precise body surfaces, and a classic streamlined aerodynamic form and proportion. So I think overall it's a very integrated design that I feel will set a new standard in this class.
Yep, couldn't agree with you more. Thanks, Don. Thanks, Bart. Some fantastic design insights there. And we've overrun, but there's so much information. I hope everyone's really enjoyed that. We've only got a tiny little bit of time left, so I think we're just going to take maybe 2 questions from our community for now. So I hope you're still with us in the back there, Christian, because I'm sure you'll be answering 1 or 2 of these. So yeah, let's see if we can get the first one up on our screens, please, if you're there, tech guys, and answer a couple of questions. Okay, are the side bags and sound system waterproof? Who wants to go for that one?
I guess that is a must in that segment, and not only in this segment. Whenever you offer proper sound system and good touring side bags and cases, they have to be waterproof, and that's what ours are as well.
Good to know. Absolute prerequisite. Okay, can we have the next question on screen, please, guys? Will there be more bikes with Marshall amps in the future?
That's always like the big question, what's coming in the future. Of course, we're always thinking about further options. And for the moment, we are checking out how our customers like our Marshall sound systems. And that's the base for now. We'll see what we come up next with.
Okay, good answer. All right, next question, please. How many color options are there? Is that one for you, Don, maybe? Or one for you, Bart?
Yeah.
No, we pass it to Christian because he knows his good stuff.
We already mentioned that for the beginning we start with 4 color options, and we have the black for both bikes. We got the first edition, so black with white pinstriping and other chrome packages on it. We got our Manhattan metallic matte that we saw earlier, and not to forget our option 719 color Galaxy Dust metallic with titanium silver with like a smoke metal effect. So really, really nice color. So therefore,
I think I saw that one in the Cadillac 3 video. It looks fantastic. So next question, please. All right, I'm worried that riding tight corners with the bike might be tricky. How did you address that?
Well, as you all know, we're based in Munich, and Munich is very close to the Alps, so we can't avoid to ride cornered roads with a lot of curves. So our bikes are always Alp-proof, no matter what we build. So those bikes are good for curvy roads, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. Why would you ever want to avoid twisty roads? That's the thing. So let's just do one more question before we wrap things up anyway. Okay. Are the tanks bigger than the normal R18? If so, how big? I hope so. They're touring motorcycles. So
exactly, Andy. So I can answer that one. The fuel tanks have 24 liters, so that's plenty for this kind of touring motorcycle. So you don't have to stop that often to stop enjoying riding.
Good to know. That's brilliant. Okay, I'm afraid I've got to bring things to a close as we're definitely over time there, but it's been brilliant. Don, Bart and Christian, big thanks from me and everybody watching for all those fascinating insights, stories and great visuals that really help illustrate these bikes' journeys from concept to delivery. We can't wait to see them on the street later this year, but all the model information's already online right now, as of today. What else? Oh yeah, don't forget to check out that new song and video by the Cadillac 3. In fact, you can also listen to them talking about music and motorcycles in the next episode of our Ride and Talk podcast, so look out for that one very soon. Anything else you want to know about these bikes, just post away in the comments below. Even if you're not watching live, you will get an answer, doesn't matter. So until next time, it's farewell from me, Christian, Bart and Don. Stay safe and take care out there. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.
Ciao.